Dialogue.
It's May Day in Dakar, 1 p.m. in Abuja. Good afternoon and many thanks for staying tuned to West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and around the world on wadr.org. Welcome to Newslink. Here are the top stories. Suspected thief stabs a Senegalese gendarme twice at the Jara Jorof Fairground in Linguère. Liberia to receive over 4,000 stranded citizens from Ghana's refugee camp.
We started the process a week ago, and we're hoping that in the next 2 hours we'll be ready. We have 7 tanks, and each tank can take about 150 persons. So, holding everything constant, we are anticipating 4,323 Liberians.
Niger and USA agree on September 15 this year as deadline for the final withdrawal of American soldiers. And a tragic fire disaster leaves 2 dead and 14 severely injured in Ghana's western region.
So out of the 16, we have 5 who are female, and then we have 11 who are male.
Please stay tuned for details of these stories and more.
Here is Augustine Coley with Newslink.
Thank you for joining our broadcast, and welcome to our listeners in the Gambia, Ghana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. This edition begins here in Senegal, where a gendarme was stabbed twice by a suspected thief on Sunday at the Jara Jorof Fairground in the department of Linguère. The tragic incident took place during the weekly market in this town, a nerve center for the livestock trade in the Louga region. Law enforcement officers are regularly deployed there to ensure the safety of breeders and property. According to security contact, the man suspected of theft suddenly attacked the gendarme in plain clothes, stabbing him twice, respectively, in the hand and the chest. Other police members patrolling the market immediately rushed to the scene of the incident to neutralize the attacker. The suspect was quickly apprehended and placed in police custody on the premises of the Jara Gendarmes Brigade. However, the injured gendarme was evacuated to the local health facility before being transferred to the Magadlo Hospital in Linguère to receive specialized care. According to Dr. Abdou Njai, chief physician of the Jara Health District, the gendarme's state of health is stable and out of danger. This incident occurred less than a month before the celebration of Tabaski, when the sheep trade was in full swing across Senegal, making the security of fairgrounds crucial. Let's now head to Niger, as Niamey and American military authorities have reached an agreement on the deadline for the final withdrawal of American soldiers based in Niger no later than September 15, 2024. The decision comes after the Nigerian military authorities denounced the military agreement between the two countries last March. Imo Edet has the details.
The high-level American delegation from the Pentagon, led by Christopher Meyer, Assistant Secretary of Defense for Special Operations and Low-Intensity Conflicts, arrived in Niamey earlier this week to propose a timetable for the withdrawal of American soldiers. It followed the decision taken last March by the Nigerian military authorities to denounce the military agreement between Niger and the United States of America. The agreement for the exit of the American soldiers was reached during a meeting organized from May 15 to 19 in Niger's capital, Niamey. According to a joint statement, the parties agreed that the disengagement would end no later than September 15, 2024. The two delegations have also established procedures to facilitate the entry and exit of American personnel, including overflight and landing authorizations for military flights. As part of the fight against terrorism, the United States has deployed more than 1,000 soldiers in Niger. Their base is located in the Agadez region in northern Niger, near the Libyan and Algerian borders. The withdrawal of American forces from Niger is a significant development in the region's security landscape.
Imo Edet with that report. In Cote d'Ivoire, the late former Ivorian President Henry Konan Bedie, who passed away on August 1, 2023, at the age of 89, will be laid to rest in his hometown of Pepresso in central Cote d'Ivoire on June 1, 2024, in a private family ceremony. The funeral proceedings commenced yesterday Sunday in Abidjan and are scheduled to continue until June 2. WADR's Eche Atisu reports.
The funeral rites commenced on Sunday with the offering of condolences at the residence of the deceased in Cocody, a residential area in Abidjan. This observance will extend until Tuesday, followed by 2 days of religious vigils at St. Paul Cathedral in Plateau and across the nation. President Henry Konan Bedie will be honored by the nation with military tributes at the presidential palace next Friday. On Saturday, his political associates from the PDCI and the general public will pay their final respects at the party house in Abidjan. Jean-Marie Kakou Gervais, the head of the funeral organizing committee for Henry Konan Bedie, emphasized the importance of these events. Many individuals within the populace hope to attend to pay their respects to the memory of the esteemed statesman. After the traditional and religious wake on May 31, the final official ceremonies will take place. President Henry Konan Bedie will then be laid to rest in the privacy of his family home village of Pepresu.
Eche Atisu reporting there. Ghanaian President Akufo-Addo's convoy has been involved in a fatal accident with one person confirmed dead. A statement from the presidency indicated the president's convoy was involved in the fatal accident along the Bonsu-Akim-Asafo stretch of the Accra-Kumasi Highway. According to a statement issued by the Communications Directorate of the Presidency, the unfortunate incident occurred while the convoy was on its way back from Kumasi after accompanying the president to Kumasi for a series of events this weekend. Tragically, one of the drivers lost his life on the spot. Additionally, several close protection and police officers from the president's security detail have sustained varying degrees of injuries and received initial treatment at the Suwon Government Hospital.
More stories coming up on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
Still on track, that's tragic news coming from Ghana. 2 of 16 fire victims in a community near Senkodi in Ghana's western region have died. The other 14 are still fighting for their lives after sustaining scathing injuries. The Saturday, May 18 fire disaster occurred around 4 p.m. when leaking premix fuel ignited in a fish smoking facility. WADR's Nadi Titi has the details in the following report.
According to Nana Dokwajaman III, chief of Ingresia, the community where the tragedy occurred, the incident happened at about 4 p.m. on Saturday. He reveals that due to the lack of an access route from the main road to the beach, the fisherfolk usually roll the barrels of fuel on the ground to the beach. However, this time around, it exploded while being transported, immediately catching fire. The blaze also affected 2 stationary vehicles as well as some nearby wooden structures. The assembly member for the Mempasem Ingresia electoral area, Gabriel Mensah, corroborated the account of the chief as he gave a breakdown of the number of persons caught up in the disaster.
So out of the 16, we have 5 who are female, and then we have 11 who are male. So out of the 11, we have 3 males at Benedict Hospital. So like Nana said, that has been the trend. They buy the premise from the site, then they roll the drum through the street.
2 of the victims were transferred to the nation's premier tertiary hospital, the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, for further treatment. Meanwhile, investigations are underway by the Ghana National Fire Service and the Ghana Police Service to officially determine the cause of the accident. For WADR, Nadidi Teti, Accra.
Efforts to combat terrorism financing in Nigeria, particularly in the northeast, have been severely hindered by poor collaboration among law enforcement and regulatory agencies. To address this critical issue, a national dialogue was held in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, Saturday, to emphasize the need for improved collaboration and effective strategies to prevent terrorism financing and ensure a safer and more prosperous future for all. Usma Umar has more in this report.
Concerns about the financing of terrorist activities in Nigeria have been escalating, as reflected in the unfavorable indices of the 2023 Global Terrorism Index. In March 2024, the federal government identified 15 entities, including 9 individuals and 6 bureau de change operators involved in terrorism financing, highlighting the urgent need for action. With Nigeria ranking 8th among the 10 countries with the highest level of terrorism, this national dialogue, organized by the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, and Transparency International, funded by GIABA ECOWAS, aims to develop effective mechanisms to track and prevent terrorism financing. Awal Rafsanjani, the executive director of CISLAC, emphasized the need for collective action to address the issue.
Many of these arms that are coming, they are coming either from the seaport, or either from the airport, or from the land border. So which means that we need to, government agencies need to cooperate, need to coordinate, need to support one another with information to defeat these people that are coming to make life difficult for Nigerians. We cannot afford just to watch and be seeing Nigerians being killed, being sold in their own country.
Timothy Melai, country head of GIABA ECOWAS, Nigeria, stressed that until everyone is carried along, no community will be safe.
It is not the work of the ministers alone. It is not the work of the chairman of the anti-corruption agencies alone. It must be a community work. And until it is a community work, where every voice is raised, the society will not be safe. Where lawyers stand for sincerity rather than money.
Other speakers at the event agreed that, given Nigeria's population and pivotal role in the continent, everything must be done to block all sources of material and financial support to terrorist groups in the country to prevent further deterioration of the security situation. For Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, Usman Umar reporting from Abuja.
Let's now head to Liberia, where massive preparations are currently ongoing in central region, that is Bangabong County, to receive over 4,300 soon-to-be repatriated Liberians who are stranded in the former refugee camp Buduburam in Ghana. The camp has been home to Liberians for the past 35 years after thousands fled two brutal civil wars between 1989 and 2003. Speaking with local journalists in Banga, the head of the Liberia Refugee Repatriation and Resettlement Commission, Patrick Wozi, provided a progress report on the entire project.
Right now, we have a comprehensive team made up of mixed group and professionals trying to ensure that we complete the work within the next 2 hours. That will create the regional trusted village, make it more habitable and more people-friendly and acceptable for our people coming back home. Trying to do some major renovation. As you can see, the area is leaking. We're trying to ensure that we do the major renovation here and then put a cement on the floor. And then we'll then have a pallet layout and put mattresses on it to make it more habitable. So that's what we're doing. From getting the yard, matching the place. They are multitasking in prophecy, the kitchen, and they continue to make sure that the people can have access to free food. Well, we started the process a week ago, and we're hoping that in the next 2 hours we'll be ready. We have 7 tanks, and each tank can take about 150 persons. So holding everything constant, we are anticipating 4,323 Liberians from Ghana, but they're coming in phases. Okay, the first phase is 770. With our luggages, 70 kilos per person. The process is that we'll have our team, the superintendent from Nima County and Bon County, with our senator from Bon County, we'll pay here, and then the other team will join us at the border to receive them, and they'll be taken to the King Lodge in Ganta. And our able vice president will come and receive them on behalf of the government of Liberia. After a refresh, then we will move on to Manga, where there will be transition for a week, going to psychosocial counseling, going to career development counseling, and then sorting on their packages for integration in the community.
Patrick Wozi is the head of the Liberia Refugee Repatriation and Resettlement Commission. You are listening to Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio 94.9 FM, Dakar, Senegal. Here is a reminder of our top stories. Suspected thieves stabs a Senegalese gendarme twice at the Jala Jolof Fairground in Linguère, Liberia, to receive over 4,000 stranded citizens from Ghana's refugee camp. Niger and USA agree on September 15 this year as deadline for the final withdrawal of American soldiers. Tragic fire incident leaves 2 dead and 14 severely injured in Ghana's western region. Still ahead, we have the press review, guest interview, and sports news. Please stay with us.
West Africa Democracy Radio. It's you speaking.
Still in Liberia, the Institute for Research and Democratic Development, IRECT, with support from the United Nations Development Programme, has embarked on a massive awareness drive for the full implementation of the Revenue Sharing Act, seeking to empower local communities. In 2022, the legislature passed the Revenue Sharing Bill, allowing subnational structures to collect and retain portions of revenues generated at county level, a key milestone for Liberia's path to sustained development. WADR's Darlington Pogba in Monrovia has a report.
International partners such as the UNDP are concerned that since the passage of the law, not much has been done in terms of enforcement. This concern has led to massive awareness campaigns. Dan Saye, Executive Director of the Institute for Research and Democratic Development, emphasized the importance of these awareness efforts as they begin to take action.
The United Nations Development Fund provided some support to us to create this environment so that we lead a process of promoting these policies, create awareness so that people in Miwok counties and even you young people, our officials who are policy makers, will get involved into how we drive the process, and we believe decentralization will offer those opportunities.
The representative of Mosrado County District 4, Michael Thomas, stressed the importance of fully implementing the revenue sharing law. He expects the executive branch of government to ensure the enforcement of this law.
The revenue sharing law and also our local government act are two cardinal pieces of instruments that takes precedence in Liberia today. And good for us, let me also say to you that the President of the Republic of Liberia officially submitted a bill doing an amendment to this law. So I want to assure you our commitment from the legislature. We will work with you, we will work with the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and we all will be a part of this process to ensure that the goal and objective that our stakeholders, our partners are investing in can be met.
Meanwhile, Bon County District 7 Representative Fode Fambule highlighted the need for local communities to be involved in the implementation of the law.
Clan chiefs, local leaders taking decisions on behalf of the community. I think a lot needs to be done in how we focus on them to understand the importance of their decisions and how it will drive development in this country. So as it stands, you can count on our support and the community support, and that of the House support. His people has extended his thank you for organizing such activities, and we wish to continue our cooperation.
The revenue sharing law has been rated as a catalyst for the decentralization and development of Liberia. For the Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, I'm Darlington Pogba in Monrovia.
This is the newspaper review. Stay abreast and find out what the top stories are in your country.
This is the newspaper review.
The newspaper review.
Let's join Usma Umar in Abuja now for the newspaper review.
Hello and welcome to the press review. We begin today with First News newspaper, and it's leading with Victory in Sambisa. Army rescues 387 hostages from Boko Haram's grip. Tinubu sets up Climate Action Committee, appoints spokesman as special envoy. NDDC, that is Niger Delta Development Commission, unveils 84 billion naira transformation mega projects across Niger Delta region. We now quickly move over to the matrix, leading with State of the Nation. Tinubu's government under fire. With riders, president's economic team looks more like tax collection. Federal government must be considerate on minimum wage. Labor must be reasonable. This is coming from Anglican Primate. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project sues 36 state governors, including the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, over failure to account for trillions of Federation Allocation Account Committee allocations. And our final story from the front page of the Matrix. EFCC convicts 31 Kano residents in 3 months over Naira abuse. Let's move quickly to our last paper for consideration today, which is the Punch newspaper. And the Punch today is leading with Dangote petrol supply. Federal government may slash 6 trillion naira fuel import. With the rider, 520 billion naira monthly fuel import expected to drop as Dangote begins supply in June. So much talk about Dangote refinery, which has been afloat since January, as we are told, to begin, sale of petrol directly to Nigerian marketers in June. And this, of course, will invariably affect the amount of money which the federal government spends, about 6 trillion naira importation every year, amounting to 520 billion naira monthly that the federal government spends in, importing petroleum products to Nigeria. And this is the much we have for you on today's edition of Press Review with me, Usman Umar, from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. It's back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Usman Umar, for the newspaper review.
Politics, analyses on major news, social matters, and all. This is A Guest.
We take you back to Niger as Niamey and American military authorities have reached an agreement on the deadline for the final withdrawal of American soldiers based in Niger no later than September 15, 2024. The decision comes after the Nigerian military authorities denounced the military agreements between the two countries last March. As a result of the development, international expert Morgan Asobah weighs in on the impact of this agreement.
I think this is a very good development as far as the process is concerned. The installation of a military base takes a lot of time because it is a huge investment and it requires some strategic analysis that should be done before installing the military base. So when it comes to withdrawing the same type of bases, it's supposed to take time, and parties are supposed to discuss the withdrawal process and even discuss what are the installation that should be maintained and how it's supposed to be done in order to maintain the security dynamic and also make sure that the friendly atmosphere is maintained, that such a situation does not involve in affecting the economical cooperation and other type of cooperation that are being there.
What would this mean for a relationship between America and Niger when American troops are withdrawn from the country, Niger?
It will not mean any different complicated situation because the two parties have agreed on the process. So this simply means that when it comes to military cooperation and assistance of the United States of America, when it comes to Niger, there will be no more dynamics in the cooperation process. I just don't want to say that these aspects of bilateral cooperation will be taken out of the context because the same Niger will be given more room to Russia to evolve in military cooperation. But the U.S. and Niger will obviously maintain economical cooperation when it comes to social cooperation and many other types of cooperation that are not directly linked to the issue of military and security when it comes to geostrategy, because maintaining any other type of cooperation with Niger is keeping an eye on what could be the actions of Russia and any other international partners that could be a threat to the influence of the United States in terms of geopolitics within not just Niger, but the Sahel area. Because when you look at the Sahel today, most of the key actors, I'm referring to United States, France, and UK, seems to not be that much present. But it is important for them to keep an eye on what is going on within the Sahel.
Morgan Asobah is an international expert. And here is Sankule Janko with the world of sports.
Hello there, a warm welcome and thank you for joining us. Zamalek are crowned the champions of CAF Confederation Cup following a 1-0 win over RS Barkan in the second leg of the final on Sunday. The Egyptian Giants headed into the return fixture at the Cairo International Stadium, trailing 2-1 from the first leg in Morocco a week ago. Ahmed Hamdi scored the only goal of the match in the 23rd minute, starring a comeback to be crowned champions for the second time. Barkan's efforts to equalize first a surmountable challenge after defender Hamza El Mouazoui received a red card, reducing them to 10 men. Meanwhile, reigning champions Al Ahly were held to a goalless draw against Esperance de Tunis in the first leg of CAF Champions League over the weekend. Despite enjoying the bulk of the possession, Esperance failed to make their chances count in a tightly contested encounter. With the score tie at 0-0, the second leg of the CAF Champions League final in Cairo guarantees to be an action-packed affair. On Ghana International, Thomas Partey's Arsenal will wait for another season to attempt to win the English Premier League after rivals Manchester City snatched the league title from them on Sunday. City retained their title following a 3-1 win over West Ham in the final league match at Etihad. The Manchester club is the first side to win the English Premier League 4 consecutive times. Partey, meanwhile, assisted Arsenal to a 2-1 win against Senegal international Idrissa Gana Gueye's Everton, but the win was not enough to reclaim the title, the last one in 2004. And that's it for sports. It's back to you.
We have come to the end of this edition of Newslink from West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Thank you for listening, and many thanks to Krista Mukidi and Maudo Juf for the technical assistance. Do interact with us via our social media platforms, X formerly Twitter, Instagram at WADR News, and on Facebook, WADR English Service. I am Augustine Cully. Good afternoon.
And many thanks to you for listening to Newslink via Hot 104.3 FM, New Me FM 94.0,
Hilltop Radio.